This is in 7th grade math right here. We're looking at equations that involve the distributive property and more than one step. So these are a little bit more complex. Let me work through several of these and I'll talk my way through them. Much of the procedures that you learned previously are all used here. And we just have one more extra step, which is the distributive property. But there are two ways to solve these types of problems. So I'm going to walk through both of these ways. And in fact, why don't I do this? Let me just kind of like put this off to the side. I'll show you both ways to solve these, and sometimes one way is easier than the other. So let's work both of them out. Here we go. So in this case, I see the answer is on the left side here, or the one side of the equation is all by itself. The right-hand side, I need to do some work. I need to do some simplifying here. So on this side, I'm going to do the distributive property. So here's one strategy is to use the distributive property first. Let's just go ahead and do that. We're going to distribute 3/4 times the b and 3/4 times the 8 right here. Now, if you are in my class, I know I always say if you got a subtraction problem, change it to addition, and you can do that. You don't necessarily have to so much. It's not very confusing because you could just keep this as subtraction, and then we'll get both of our answers on either side. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's copy our 3 down here. We're not doing anything on the on the left-hand side. We're not doing anything with this. It's all being done here. We're only simplifying what we already see here. So 3/4 times b, that's easy. 3/4 b. 3/4 times b. All right, that was easy. Here's our minus sign. We'll just go ahead and plug that in. And then 3/4 times 8. You can do the math. You can kind of on a separate sheet of paper work that out. We're going to end up with 6 right here. So I'm going to put a 6. All right, now we have a two-step equation. All right, now we have a two-step equation, and we can go through our process of solving that by isolating the variable term first. We want to keep this. We want this to be my answer. I want to undo minus 6. So we are going to add 6 over here. Now, you'll notice we're going to add 6 over here. Now, we are not simplifying this. We're not changing this. We're not rewriting it. We are simply doing something to this. We're adding 6 on the right-hand side of this equation, and we also have to add 6 to the left-hand side of the equation. Notice that we didn't do that in this step. This step was not about us doing something extra. This step was simply about simplifying what was already there. Just using the distributive property here. Okay, we weren't doing anything to the 3. Now we are actually doing something to both sides of the equation. We're adding 6 over here and adding 6 over here. So let's go ahead and write our what we have so far. On the left side, that's a 9, and on the right side. Okay, now let's undo our multiplying by 3/4, which we're going to do that, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 3/4. That will make 1 be our answer here, and then we'll do the same over here. Multiply by 4/3. Remember, that's 9 over 1. And what we get when we multiply 4/3 times 9 is 12. So our answer is 12. If we put 12 up here where the b is, we can see that 12 minus 8 is 4. And 3/4 of 4 is 3. Now, I said that there were two ways of solving this. This is using distributive property first, and we can do that. We can also solve the equation first by undoing or getting rid of the 3/4. The 3/4 is a factor being multiplied by what we see in parentheses here. So let's just go ahead and get rid of the 3/4, get rid of this factor first. Right? So we're going to multiply by 4/3. I'm going to squeeze it in here. So we're actually multiplying the right side by 4/3, and we're multiplying the left side by 4/3. So on the left side, 4/3 times 3 over 1 is 4. On the right side, these cancel out. 4/3, 3/4, that's 1. They make 1. And we have b minus 8. We got rid of the factor of multiplying by 3/4. And we have b minus 8 is the answer. What's in parentheses now is all by itself here. We don't need the parentheses. We could take those off because now that multiplying by 3/4 is gone, and we have that equals 4. So this is much easier to look at right now. Let's go ahead and do our last step. And there's no coefficient here, so we just have to add 8 on both sides. Do we have 12? And that's what we have right there. So we end up having the same solution. We just went about it a different way. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Okay, let's do the same thing. Actually, let me go ahead and split this just so we can see both processes. Sometimes you'll notice that doing the distributive property first is easier. And sometimes getting rid of that factor is easier first. So let's go ahead and do both of them here. Let's use distributive property. Or actually, why don't you do this, pause this video, you work it out, and then we'll take a look at our answers. Okay, let me go ahead and I'm going to do it both ways. Over here, distributive property. That was the distributive property. Now, so here we subtract 72 from both sides. All right, we're ready for our second step, which is to isolate the variable. And we get t equals 7, and we can check that. Put 7 up here. 7 plus 12 is 19, and 19 times 6 is 114. All right, so this is using the distributive property and then just doing a two-step equation, solve it. Let's go ahead and start solving it by not doing the distributive property, and we're going to do the inverse of times 6. So that means our answer is going to be t plus 12. We're going to do something so that t plus 12 is the answer to our equation. It's what's left over. So we are getting rid of, kind of, if you want to say it that way, or we're undoing times 6 right off the bat. So if we do that, that means this whole thing is divided by 6. The whole thing, the whole left side is divided by 6. The whole right side is divided by 6. And what is 6 divided by 6? These cancel out, don't they? And what's left? T plus 12. There we have it. And then our answer over here is going to be 19. All right, so that was just one step right there. And now our next step is to undo adding 12. So we're subtracting 12 from both sides. And our answer, of course, is going to be t on the left side and 7 on the right side. Once again, same solutions, two different ways of going about it. Okay, there's a few examples right there so you can look at, and hopefully they've helped you out. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.